who sat and watched my infant head when sleeping on my cradle bed, and tears of sweet affection shed, my mother. And can I ever cease to be affectionate and kind to thee, who was so very kind to me, my mother? When thou art feeble, old and grey, my healthy arm shall be thy stay, and I will soothe thy pains away, my mother. No doubt, all across the globe, the words of Anne Taylor of blessed memory on the importance of mothers remain evergreen and indelible. Across boundaries, colors, languages, ethnicities, social status, and individual differences, nobody could have agreed less with the summation of the gods called mothers as woven in Anne's ageless poem, My Mother. Nigeria's Supermom Season 5 is in town. It's a celebration of our mothers. The Supermom Season 5. My Dad, My Supermom.
Mama's cooking. Let's help her. Wait! My mama says before touching food, you should wash your hands with soap.
But my hands are clean.
Can't see germs, but they're everywhere.
Look under special blue light. To protect against germs, I recommend regularly use soap. Safeguard removes millions of germs, and additionally, it inhibits regrowth of germs that might cause skin rashes for hours.
That is why me, mommy, daddy, and my brother regularly use Safeguard.
Supported by the African Medical Association.
It's your mouth that gives you your best smile, that lets you bite into the best food, hot or cold. That's why your mouth deserves Oral-B Pro Health All-Round Protection. It protects you against bacteria, plaque, and gum problems that could lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your teeth and gives you all-round protection. That's why your mouth deserves Oral-B Pro Health All-Round Protection. And now available in family size.
Hunger. Plenty sweetie, hunger, sweetie, plenty sweetie, hunger. Just the perfect blend of flavor and aroma. Hunger, sweetie, plenty sweetie.
Now you can find Ariel's brilliant cleaning power in a bigger, better economy sachet. Now you get more value by saving an amazing 10 naira. Ariel, brilliant cleaning in one wash.
So what's the matter with you, little Mary?
She's not sleeping well, doctor. And she's so cranky in the mornings.
And how is she feeding?
She's got a good appetite, touch wood.
Then maybe it's her diaper making her wet.
But a diaper doesn't leak.
It's not only about leakage. A diaper can feel dry on the outside but could still be wet inside.
Oh, that could be why she doesn't sleep well.
And that's why I recommend Pampers, because they keep your baby dry.
Pampers locks wetness away from your baby's skin by turning it into gel.
With Pampers, you'll sleep peacefully, little Mary, so she'll be ready to shine every morning.
Endorsed by Pediatric Association of Nigeria.
Names?
I'm Divine.
She never looks back,
But not on those days.
I'm Vanessa.
She likes to move it. But not on those days.
Today, no more issues, cause tissues always locks the liquid inside up to 8 hours. No stain, no check. I'm in a no check mode. I move anyhow, always. I'm unstoppable, always. I'm full speed ahead. I'm a fast forward, always. I'm a front runner. I'm a hot stepper. I am. Stay happy, always.
Always by P&G. Everyday quality brands.
Nigeria's Supermom Season 5 is in town. It's a celebration of our mothers. The Supermom Season 5. My Dad, My Supermom. Mother, the reality in our hopes, the strength in our zeal, a friend, a life bearer, a defender, a shield, a teacher, a guardian, a leader, a nurse, a sister, a wife, and in all, a mother. Only mother's love understands our tears. Only mother's love calms our fears. Only mother's love soothes our disappointments. Only mothers share the joy we feel. Only mother's faith inspires the confidence in us. Mother's love, faith, boldness, confidence, inspiration and aspirations are fashioned by the angels and sent from God to mankind. Without mincing words, mothers are those treasures the heavens have lavished upon humankind. No wonder musicians all over the world write songs to just appreciate these rare gems. Filmmakers go the extra mile to weave stories about their love, sacrifices, devotion, and loyalty. Our mothers are the sources of joy and the most essential gift of nature to mankind. They are the prominent things in our lives and key role players to the development of a child and the nation as a whole. They are the bedrock of a viable and sustainable society. Their love and devotion paints our world with the beautiful colors of the rainbow, regardless of the pains they go through. In essence, they light our paths, and sometimes they stoop to conquer obstacles for their children. Over the past 4 years of sensational and emotional TV experience, one reality show was brought forth to celebrate mothers from socio-economic status and their unreserved struggles to raise their children to become somebody in life. These mothers forged through unimaginable paths simply because of their unmatched love and devotion to their children. Their stories evoke passionate involvement that is typical of noble mothers. They exist only not for themselves, but for their children. This show is the Supermom reality TV show.
Tell me you could be like a mama. Hey. I never see Pikin with a love like me. I never see Pikin with a love. Emi o TV amo, si won fẹ́ràn bí me, mama. You're the reason I'm singing this song.
If there are other remarkable ways to celebrate our mothers and their care over their children, the Supermom reality TV show has been able to depict and demonstrate this unflinching love. The show has exhibited the beauty of our African mothers and their firm commitment to see their children to the top in spite of all odds. For more than 4 years, the Supermom reality TV show has recorded resounding successes through the celebration of these rare gems of mothers. For amazing 4 years, the show is no longer alien to the general public. People have come to acknowledge it as a suitable platform to celebrate mothers and their extraordinary efforts to make life better and richer for their children. With the dawn of the show, Nigerians have been so eager to share the stories of their mothers. Short stories were written and submitted as to why their mothers are the greatest. Then, the top 20 stories were selected from across geopolitical zones of Nigeria after a rigorous publicity campaign through media platforms like radio jingles, TV, billboards, SMS, and the internet. A special interview was conducted for the entrants and their mothers anywhere they are in Nigeria to share some relevant facts, date, time, and other important information. Thereafter, professional film stars depicted these stories in a very emotional drama. Over the years, this has placed the Supermom reality TV show as highly original and sentimental. Each episode will feature 2 stories, and the viewers will vote for their choice weekly to qualify for the final. The winning story wins a brand new house, the first runner-up a brand new car, while the second runner-up smiled home with a cash prize. The show is broadcast across Nigeria on AIT Network, Africa Magic, and select stations. It will broadcast once weekly for 13 weeks. 1 hour each per episode. Basically, the first episode of the show gives an insight into what it is all about. It shows the recruitment process, screening, and viewers' participation. The mothers appeared from the second episode, and their stories are shared for all to see. The viewers, who are the ultimate judges, vote for the stories that were able to make it to the next round. This process continued until the 12th episode. The winner was ultimately announced in the 13th episode by a carefully selected celebrity who is also a mother and also an advocate of family values. At a grand winners' party amidst propelling pageantry, the winning mothers were then celebrated in the presence of friends, celebrities and sponsors. They were presented with prizes and the ultimate crown of Supermom. In the first season of the Supermom reality TV show in 2010, Mrs. Nkechi Rapu went home with the star prize of a brand new home, while Mrs. Muibat Adisa and Mrs. Blessing Ukwabi went home with a brand new car and 500,000 naira cash prizes respectively as the first and second runners-up. It was an unparalleled excitement that heralded the season 2 of the Supermom reality show. It was time to celebrate once again the mothers who made extraordinary sacrifices for their children. These mothers went extra miles to see their children become something great in life. Nigerians enjoyed reality entertainment in a natural manner never experienced before. Mrs. Folajogun Adeshono was rewarded for her enormous sacrifices on her children with a brand new house as the winner, while Mrs. Theresa Ngohu and Mrs. Bessie Egbabowunyi went home with a brand new car and 500,000 naira cash prizes respectively. The celebrity edition of the Supermom reality show season 3 featured the mothers of notable celebrities like Abbas Akonde Obesere, Kobam Zasukwo, music producer, Kenny Best, hip-hop crooner, Scales, Tony Tetuila, award-winning artist, thespian Binta Ayo Mogaji Uduleye, movie director Chiko Ejiro, comedian Julius Agu, Flavor, J1, award-winning filmmaker Kunle Afolayan, and lots more. These mothers shared their stories of emotional sacrifice for their superstar children. Like the previous seasons, these stories were dramatized for the viewers' enjoyment and participation. At the end of the show, Nigerians realized that behind every superstar, there is a supermom. And like the previous season of the show, the viewers were the almighty judges. Mrs. Gladys Asukwo, mother to ace music producer Kobam Asukwo, got the highest numbers of votes for her selfless sacrifice and roles in nurturing the life of a celebrity son to greatness, carting home the grand prize of 2 million naira. Abbas Akonde Obesere's mom, Mrs. Taibat Anike Omobonike, and Mrs. Martina Sani, mother to the hip-hop crooner Scales, emerged first and second runner-up, carting home 1,500,000 naira respectively. The winning mothers shared their part of their prize with charity homes of their choices, giving credence to their hearts of gold. Scales' mother. Scales' mother did not give up despite all she went through. At a point, she was sleeping in a park and late in the restaurant where she worked as waitress because she did not have a house. She had only one child, but she could not afford to provide him with luxury. Nevertheless, she did not give up. This is a recap of Mrs. Sani's story.
So I was doing, because I was frying my course at the garage there, Zaria garage. So when we closed, we don't know where to go because the landlord was disturbing us to pay for the house rent. So, and I had no money. So we now move to the garage there. I will sell my course later in the night, maybe around 12 when we finish, we enter inside there because there's one opening there We put cartons there, we sleep. Early in the morning before 5, I've dressed him up, come back to where I do my ekosi. We slept in, that is the Kaduna, that is Zaria Road. We slept in the car because when he left us, there was no money to pay for house rent. So even we slept in the garage up to a week before we now got an assistant. We got a house. So I did many jobs. We really suffered. But all I know, I wanted to see his education because he's a man. I wanted the best for him.
Mrs. Sani made a living by washing plates in a restaurant. It was from these proceeds she sent her son to school when the day was over, and she would sleep in the restaurant with her son since she had not acquired a place of her own. She did not stop there. She worked on a construction site to give a lease of life to her son.
It was during that time, so the bricklayer, if I see where they say they are doing bricklayer, I will go there. I will beg they will give me chance to do it. When they mix the sand, we will be packing it for them to build. I was even schooling them, but because of his own, I have to leave my own school so that he can continue his own school. The sacrifice I did for him, I gave my life. It's my life I give. Even people that knows, they know that I've given my life to him. And that is why God was behind us and he saw us through. He gave me a perfect child. Understood? God gave me a perfect child.
Nigeria Supermom Season 5 is in town. It's a celebration of our mothers. The Supermom Season 5. My Dad, My Supermom. Mrs. Taibat's story goes thus.
My mother has suffered so much for me, and she's done a lot for me. No gratification will be too much for all she's done.
Like other mothers on the show, Mrs. Taibat had her own fair share of problems while raising Abbas.
My mother told me a story. She said when I was a little boy, I was ill, critically ill. I was admitted for a long time. That time, my both legs were twisted, that they had to operate on them to get them back to normal. My mother told me that there was a time she was in the hospital with the doctors and nurses.
It was 3 days, 3 noon, 3 nights. I stood by him. I did not drink, I did not eat, nor doze.
On the 3rd day, Mrs. Taibat's body gave in to nature and she fell asleep for the first time since he was hospitalized.
My mother just slept off. She slept for like 1 minute within 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. And there was this nurse that came to slap her. She started dripping tears. The nurse said, "You're sleeping. Why would you be sleeping?"
I held his hands while blood was transferred into his body. They placed cotton wool on him. God is great. Abbas is a precious child to me. May he live long. May he live to eat many kola nuts. He should prosper more than this. The cotton wool in his body had no blood, so they asked me to see it. I was told when he was getting better. The nurse called me and apologized for hitting my head. I told her it's okay. After all, it's for my good she did that. Then she said if I understood the situation of the child, that's why she hit me. She said I should understand the child has a purpose in life. Children whose cases are not worse as his don't make it. Can I see how they rush children in and out? Some die, they rush them out. Then she asked if I saw different cases. That's why she hit me. I told her I didn't sleep. It wasn't intentional. She complimented me, good mother, saying God would watch over him.
You see, That Indian hemp we say they smoke. I've tasted it before. What I'm talking about like 25 years or 30 years ago. I was so small. I tasted Indian hemp then.
Yami anike, omuboneke, trade bat. I want to buy motor, Bobby bicycle. For my mama, this is not the common. I know the play goes on. With my mama, I can swing, I can win.
Nigeria Supermom Season 5 is in town. It's a celebration of our mothers. The Supermom Season 5. My Dad, My Supermom. Any mother who ensures that her blind son would grow up to become one of the best music producers in the world is worth celebrating. She made sure that food was not lacking in the house, whether or not there was money. In episode 11, Mrs. Gladys Asukwo, Cobham's mother, was paired with Mrs. Omoladun Afolayan, Kunle Afolayan's mother, and you voted Mrs. Asukwo as winner. Now, this is a recap of Mrs. Asukwo's story.
From birth, I saw there's nothing wrong with him. He wasn't sick, nothing. I just had him in birth and he was just like this. The eyes, everything was correct. Nothing whatsoever. Though when I had him, as a mother, and when it comes to like 2 or 3 months, as a mother, you have to, notice something in a baby, where you play with a baby and the baby will not respond and all the rest of it. So, I was worried and we had to take him. I had to take him to a hospital. First, I took him to University Hospital Ibadan. We went to University Hospital, teaching hospital. Took him to the theater and everything. Nothing, they said nothing was wrong. I was still worried as a mother. Then lastly, they have to tell me that I should take him to an eye clinic, and that was Kano. That was the last place I went to. Kano. I went there. The doctor looked into his eyes and said, "Madam, don't leave this baby at home. Send him to school." That was just all.
When he was 2 or 3 years of age, he would go around the house to locate things. As he grew up, Mrs. Asukwo realized he loved to do house chores like his other siblings.
I think my mother helped me become independent in many ways. For instance, she was the sort of person who would leave something, in a particular place and say to me, "Go and help me get this, or go and help me get that. Go and get a mirror for me, or go and bring, my bag or my purse or something." I mean, to her, the fact that I couldn't see didn't mean that, I couldn't be useful and I couldn't go around and do stuff.
Cobham is a wonderful child. He's a wonderful child. I cannot see. I don't know what to say.
She always encouraged him to do domestic chores. At a tender age, she taught him where his box of clothes was, and after giving him a bath, she would ask him to go and get his dress. She taught him how to wash his clothes and fold them without assistance.
She would make do with whatever little we had, and there was always a hot plate as far as she was concerned. She never tired, to cook and clean and correct and love and admonish and praise, and she was just there. She was there.
So when he told me as he's leaving school for music, well, I wasn't surprised. Well, I just prayed that if that is the will of God. Let it be done.
But I'll never forget I'll never forget what she said to me when I told her, that I was leaving school. She said, that she trusted me and that she only hoped that I knew what I was doing. And it's so because, some of the kindest words I've ever had spoken to me have come from her.
The dynamic nature of the Supermom reality show was evident in the 2013 Season 4 edition of the show, as the show unveiled the Heart of Gold edition. The edition was aimed at celebrating the mothers who raised children that were not biologically related to them. The show also bestowed special recognition to orphanages and hospices throughout the geopolitical zones of the country. These orphanages share their unique stories with Nigerians. 20 orphanages with unique stories were selected from across the country, and their stories dramatized and shared for Nigerians to decide which orphanage become the Supermom Heart of Gold. It was indeed a most revealing and emotional season, as stories that defy human understanding were shared. These special breed of people defy the law of umbilical cord by going the extra mile to give hope to the hopeless. After 13 weeks of intense competition and voting by the viewers, So Said Orphanage emerged, winner carting home the grand prize of 2 million naira. When Mrs. Concerned Felicia Martin started going to the street with a camera crew and those who will help in carrying the insane, her husband chased her out of the house because he felt she was disgracing the family. Her first son hit her on the face. She slept in the street for 8 months.
So after some time, my husband was like, what do you think you are doing? My friend, you are working, and what business do you have with these people? I was like, it's a vision. They need help. We can help them. My husband could not understand. So during the period of the early time of the vision, I was led out of my house for 8 months. My husband chased me out of the house. My son slapped me. My husband said I was bringing disgrace to the house. He ganged the children over me. My first son gave me a slap that I was bringing disgrace to the family. Actually, it was not easy.
Children Promises Ministry Orphanage, Chiprom, won 1 million naira, while Vigilant Heart, a charitable society orphanage, won 500,000 naira respectively for emerging first and second runners-up of the Supermom Heart of Gold edition. Oladapo Idowu, the president and founder of Children of Promise Orphanage Home, Chiprom.
To come back to Nigeria to found this organization, Children of Promise Ministries. My background is I did my undergraduate studies in sociology and my graduate studies in theology and what we call psychosocial rehabilitation. That is taking care of people with mental health issues. And I have an organization in Canada called Dovict Resource and Consulting Center. Many people know it as Dovict Home and Healthcare Services.
Mrs. Juliana Oyetola is a mother at Children of Promise Orphanage Home. She's a native of Okegbo in Ondo State. She's 60 years old and she started working at the orphanage in 2005.
Orúkọ mi ni Mrs. Juliana Oyetola. Mo jẹ́ ọmọ bíbí ìlú Okegbo. Àmọ́ mò ń gbé ní ìlú Ìbàdàn. Okegbo ní Ondo State. Ibẹ̀ ni ìlú mi. Ní àkókò yìí ọjọ́ orí mi 60 ọdún. Ó dín díẹ̀.
She has never regretted working at the orphanage because she loves the children, and there were times when she broke down on her knees to cry because of the love and pity she feels for the children.
Gbogbo àwọn ọmọ tó wà nínú home yìí, wọ́n ti rí bàbá yẹn gẹ́gẹ́ bí bàbá wọn.
Most of the children will bottle it up, but with love and participation of staff, of volunteers. And you can see that we do have international volunteers coming. It takes me to travel around the world to get volunteers, to speak with European community and get them here.
I'd have a networking and people, I have some doctors, they could go to a hospital to say, oh, please, they are pregnant, or they have malaria, and then they are tested, it's positive. Then the doctor say, but do you know you are pregnant? You say, no, yes. What do you want to do? I want abortion. Doctors will say, oh, I have a place that can do this thing for you very well. Her name, the place is so and so. Her name is Auntie May. She's popularly known as Auntie May. She does this. You know, when you go there, she's going to help you out. In fact, she has a very good clinic, for abortion.
When she delivered a baby and Mrs. Osawaman and Ohiwe Osawaman visited her, they found her feeding the baby with a feeding tube because she didn't want any emotional attachment with the baby. Mrs. Osawaman was shocked at the scenario. She took the girl and her child to the police station so she could take charge of the child. As the girl did not want any attachment whatsoever with the child, she wouldn't keep the child. The Supermom reality show went on to achieve international status when it birthed in the Gold Coast of Ghana, with a celebrity edition also in 2013. The Ghanaian people, who were known to have a special connection with their mothers, embraced the show with excitement.
Tell me who could be like a mama. Hey, oh, tell me who could be like a mama. Yeah. I want to buy a motor, maybe bicycle. I want to build house for my mama. This is not the coco. I know they play coso. Be my mama, yeah. Mama, yeah, mama.
Mrs. Victoria Jage emerged the winner of the show.
Joy of a motherhood at this time, you see your son being popular.
Nigeria Supermom Season 5 is in town. It's a celebration of our mothers. The Supermom Season 5. My dad, my Supermom.
It's your mouth that gives you your best smile. That lets you bite into the best food, hot or cold. That's why your mouth deserves Oral-B Pro Health All-Round Protection. It protects you against bacteria, plaque, and gum problems that could lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your teeth and gives you all-round protection. That's why your mouth deserves Oral-B Pro Health All-Round Protection. And now available in family size.
Hunger.
Plenty sweetie, sweetie, plenty sweetie, just the perfect blend of flavor and aroma. Sweetie, plenty sweetie.
Mama's cooking. Let's help her. Wait! My mama says before touching food, you should wash your hands with soap.
But my hands are clean.
Can't see germs, but they're everywhere.
Look under special blue light. To protect against germs, I recommend regularly use soap. Safeguard removes millions of germs, and additionally, it inhibits regrowth of germs that might cause skin rashes for hours.
That is why me, mommy, daddy, and my brother regularly use Safeguard.
Supported by the African Medical Association.
So what's the matter with you, little Mary?
She's not sleeping well, doctor. And she's so cranky in the mornings.
And how is she feeding?
She's got a good appetite. Touch wood.
Then maybe it's her diaper making her wet.
But a diaper doesn't leak.
It's not only about leakage. A diaper can feel dry on the outside but could still be wet inside.
Oh, that could be why she doesn't sleep well.
And that's why I recommend Pampers, because they keep your baby dry.
Pampers locks wetness away from your baby's skin by turning it into gel.
With Pampers, you'll sleep peacefully, little Mary, so she'll be ready to shine every morning.
Endorsed by Pediatric Association of Nigeria.
Growing up for me was eventful and straightforward. After school, it was from one audition to the other, trying to land that movie role that would make me a star. Wow! I came across the next movie star. I was auditioned and was lucky to be amongst the very few that was selected. We went through training and grooming to prepare us for the tasks ahead. I made it into the house of the next movie star, where we spent 30 days. And alas, I was announced the winner! This was a turning point in my acting career. I got a brand new car and several movie and TV roles from Benito 8, Mama Bomboy, somewhere down the line. I'm happy I made that choice.
My name is Tamara Ete, winner of the Next Movie Star 2011. I am living my dreams.
For inquiries and registration, log on to www.thenextmoviestar.tv. The Next Movie Star at 10. Live your dream.
Now that Supermom has given 4 years of intense emotional TV experience in Africa, it is yet another season of extraordinary, sentimental, emotional and original experience like never before. Brace up as reality TV show is about to experience another revolution in the unique Season 5 of Supermom. Join us in this unforgettable edition. My Dad, My Supermom. Sometimes, what a woman should do, a man can do better. The Supermom Season 5 edition is tagged, My Dad, My Supermom. This edition promises to break all records in televiewing. It is full of emotional stories that are mind-bending and dramatized in a way never experienced before in the history of the show. 2014 marks a special year since the formative year of the Supermom brand. It would mark the 5th anniversary since the show birthed in 2010, and as customary, this edition promises to be more emotional and entertaining than the previous editions. My Dad, My Supermom is aimed at celebrating fathers who stood as a rock of Gibraltar with their children. This could be as a result of the untimely deaths of the mother, legal separation, or mother's neglect of their children. These fathers, against all odds, took up the mantle of motherhood and solely carrying a burden that was meant for two hearts. They have become a source of joy and inspiration to their children, restoring a confidence once lost in the fear of the unknown. They teach their children how to read the map so they can recognize the roads that lead to life and paths that lead to death in the absence of their mothers. This edition of Supermom will teach viewers what love requires from an unlikely source like a dad, and when to find steel in the heart when life makes demands on us greater than what we can endure. You call them daddy. We call them Supermom. For a long time, the world has taken little notice of some men who go extra miles to set the moon on the edge of the grip of their children. They are rare gems among men who toil days and nights to hang up the names of their children in the stars. Their children, they are everything. To their children, their hearts are the masterpiece of nature. In this sensational edition, 20 passionate fathers have been selected to share the stories of their sacrifices to their children. The most touching elements of these stories have been scripted and reenacted in dramatic form and acted out by professional actors and actresses, having the 3 components of the show in an original, meaningful, and emotional way. Dear viewers, it is time to brace up as the Supermom celebrate 20 outstanding fathers for all their unwavering support, for loving their children unconditionally, and teaching them everything they know in the absence of their mother. These children are who they are because of their fathers. They are precious fathers their children still look up to, no matter how tall they have grown. They are their friends, their heroes, and most importantly, their father. Their countdown starts now. Nigeria Supermom Season 5 is in town. It's a celebration of our mothers. The Supermom Season 5. My Dad, My Supermom. Ikechukwu Victor had a close relationship with his 3 daughters before he and his wife eventually separated. This paved way for an era of being his daughter's brother, teacher, friend, and most of all, father. It was also a period when neighbors attacked him with allegations of sleeping with his daughters. The years that followed saw him through the unimaginable sacrifices for his children. To Victor, laying down his luxury so his children could have a life was a life worth living. Alhaji Salawuddin Okeimole. Salawuddin's wife abandoned him with 3 children. He had encountered a minor delay in getting any child after marriage, but God eventually answered their prayers with 1 son and 2 daughters. Yet, a little quarrel between them resulted in his wife packing out of the house. Families of both parties gathered together to settle it. His wife came back, but it was not the same again. She left again, and since then, Salawuddin has been living with his children. He did not only discard the idea of marrying another woman, he thought nothing about it. His ultimate concern was taking care of his children. As for his children, they seemed not to miss their mother because of the absolute affection their father showered on them. Tony Peters. Unlike so many men, Tony Peters was exceptionally a gentleman who truly loved his wife. Even when his wife took to drinking and indulging in all sorts of obsessions a woman was not supposed to do, Tony still cared for her. But when she left him with 2 children, Tony braced up and faced life. He began to carry the load meant for 2 people. Pains, sufferings, and constraints were the order of the day for him and his children. He laid down himself so his children would become someone in life. Okwola Adewolu. After marrying 4 wives, Okwola ended up with none of them in his house. The first wife left him with 1 kid, while his second wife ran mad after 2 children. His third wife also abandoned him with 2 children, while the 4th died after giving birth to a girl. Okwola went the extra miles to give succor to all of his children. His absolute love and devotion would never go out of his children so quickly. Samuel Adigun Fagbemi. Losing 2 children and also his lovely wife was a terrible experience for Samuel Fagbemi. He toiled and struggled all through his life to give his children the best. All through his life, Samuel did not live for himself, he lived solely for his children. The unfortunate event that led to the loss of his 2 eyes has been as a result of putting his children first before his own. Peter Ikechukwu Idozie. For a man that his wife traveled all the time, leaving him and the children at home, Peter had got accustomed to some home chores. He was an expert when it comes to cooking, washing, and doing all sorts of domestic activities. He created time to teach his children so many things. He indulged in wearing only 1 cloth for a long time to ward off any hindrance to his children's education. To his children, they cannot thank him enough for fulfilling his promise to them. Abdul Latif Adekombi. At a time when he was so much in need of a wife's support, when all the chips were down for him, Abdul Latif's wife left him with his children. Life was so tough and he had to forge through a lot of hardship. He was working on how to make life better for his children when one of them suddenly got pregnant. His perseverance to withstand pain and struggle guided him through the affair of taking care of his children. Peter Eze Onuoha. As for Peter Eze Onuoha, combining taking care of his children and his wife was a task he was happy to take. He strove to see that they were all well taken care of. Then, there came a period when he had to travel to Italy to fend for his family. The terrible kidney infection that he encountered as a result of this did not alter his survival instinct. He dared death itself simply because of his children. Jimoh Tajuddin could not thank God enough when his wife finally divorced him. He has moved to 3 different houses because of his wife's unruly behavior. Yet, beyond her parking away lies the struggle to cater for his children. He became their mother and their father all rolled into one. It has been a very difficult ordeal for him, but Tajuddin carried the load for his children with pleasure. Seidu Ibrahimo. Maybe because it took years before he eventually got any child, Ibrahim took exceptional care of his children. His unconditional love for his children had endeared him to them. It was like the end of his life when he lost 2 of his children. For more than 1 year, he mourned his great loss. Yet, that did not hinder his love for the rest of his children. Mr. Abanisheloluwa Ishijola. Why would a wife, someone regarded as the second voice of a man, decide to kill her husband? Love? Envy? Fear? For more than 15 years after his wife ran away from home because of food poisoning, Mr. Isijola continued to ask himself this question without any answer. He could only thank God for preserving him until today. His wife ran away, leaving him with their twins that were just 1 month and 13 days old. It has been a life full of struggle and constraints as he single-handedly brought up his twins. God's power, Nodim Mwadidia. God's power's case was a peculiar one in which his wife got sick mentally after her second child. He had to struggle to single-handedly bring up his children. There were so many challenges everywhere, but he stayed with his children. He lost his job, and to carry on was so hard, but he put himself in the shoes of the toughs who must get going. Even though he has been able to create a positive life for his children, God's power still dedicates a large amount of his life to total success of his children. Mr. Isaac Folusho Okea. Mr. Okea took up the role of a woman by carrying his daughter on his back. When he was faced with the challenge of taking care of his daughter, his wife abandoned them. He resigned from his work in Jos to take care of her. For 3 years, Isaac waded through some unimaginable problems staying with her daughter and taking care of her. Life was so tough, and the thought of how he would not disappoint his daughter led to the sickness of stroke. Yet, on his sickbed, he still ranked his daughter's well-being more than his own. For him, once his daughter is happy, nothing else matters. James Okon. Life for James was not fair at all. Fate dealt him a terrible blow when his wife died, leaving him with 4 children. A few months after, he lost his job. Since then, James has been moving from one odd job to the other so as to cater for his children. His only source of joy was his children, and he is their happiness. Donatus Ikata. When he had to take his wife around looking for a solution to her illness, Donatus still had to cater for his children. And when his wife finally gave up the ghosts, life became meaningless to him. Life proved more mysterious when his son was diagnosed to have stone in his heart. He borrowed heavily just so not to lose his son. For all it is worth, it has become a lifetime debt that he still struggles to pay back. Wahid Afolayan. Life was so promising and they could see the future smiling down on them with good fortune. 1 girl and 2 boys. Wahid and his household waited for a little adorable creature inside his wife to join the family. But man proposes and God disposes, they say. He lost his wife during childbirth, and since then, life has been so hard for him. He went through difficult times of his life that were not easy for him to forget. Paul Ubezia. He took care of them and catered for them, even though they were not his own children, even though the woman was a single mother and he planned to marry her, Paul blended in bond with her 2 children. He got into accident one time and sold his precious property just to put smiles on the children's faces. Their mother's sudden death revealed their biological father. Yet, when their father rejected them, they had to run back to Paul, who continued to cater for them as if they're his own children. Prince Samuel Adetunji Adewi. His first wife left him with 4 children because of his decision to stop childbearing. Later, when he remarried, his wife died 3 months after giving birth to a girl. He lived through the struggle with his daughter after sending his sons to his relatives. The years that followed saw his daughter sharing in his suffering, but he made sure he gave her necessary things she would need in life. Babatunde Shomefun. It took Babatunde years before he was able to get a child after marriage. Yet his wife did not give him any clue when she suddenly packed out of the house with his daughter. She brought her back to her father, and since then Babatunde has been struggling to cater for his daughter. Shomefun would put his daughter on his back while he struggled to feed her. But in all, posterity has borne him so much happiness to still be able to set his eyes on his children and grandchildren. Michael Odor Essien. Michael Odok Essien. Michael's wife died, leaving him with 4 children. He struggled and suffered to bring up his children. He believed that it was all about determination, and since there was no option, he took up the mantle of responsibilities. He taught his children so many things that they will find it so hard to forget him. He saw to it that his children did not miss their mother. Nigeria Supermom Season 5 is in town. It's a celebration of our mothers. The Supermom Season 5. My dad, my Supermom.
Mama's cooking. Let's help her. Wait! My mama says before touching food, you should wash your hands with soap.
But my hands are clean.
Can't see germs, but they're everywhere.
Look under special blue light. To protect against germs, I recommend regularly use soap. Safeguard removes millions of germs, and additionally, it inhibits regrowth of germs that might cause skin rashes for hours.
That is why me, mommy, daddy, and my brother regularly use Safeguard.
Supported by the African Medical Association.
It's your mouth that gives you your best smile, that lets you bite into the best food, hot or cold. That's why your mouth deserves Oral-B Pro Health All-Round Protection. It protects you against bacteria, plaque, and gum problems that could lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your teeth and gives you all-round protection. That's why your mouth deserves Oral-B Pro Health All-Round Protection. And now available in family size.
Hunger.
Plenty sweetie, hunger, sweetie, plenty sweetie, hunger. Just a perfect blend of flavor and aroma. Hunger, sweetie, plenty sweetie.
Now you can find Ariel's brilliant cleaning power in a bigger, better economy sachet. Now you get more value by saving an amazing 10 naira. Ariel, brilliant cleaning in one wash.
Names? I'm Divine. She never looks back, but not on those days. I'm Vanessa. She likes to move it, but not on those days. Today, no more issues, cause tissues always locks the liquid inside up to 8 hours. No stain, no check. I'm in a no check mode. I move anyhow, always. I'm unstoppable, always. I'm full speed ahead. I'm a fast forward, always. I'm a front runner. I'm a hot stepper. I am. Stay happy, always.
Always by P&G. Everyday quality brands.
Nigeria Supermom Season 5 is in town. It's a celebration of our mothers. The Supermom Season 5. My Dad, My Supermom. In each episode, 2 fathers will be paired. At the end of the show, based on the viewer's judgment, the top 3 fathers will win the cash prizes of a brand new car, 1 million naira and 500,000 naira, respectively. This is another emotional TV experience for our dear viewers to truly know who a dad is. For us at Supermom, he's that rare gem who wants to keep his children from making mistakes, but instead allows them to find their own ways, even though his heart breaks in silence when they get hurt. He is that blessed soul who hears many gentle voices call him Father. Nigeria Supermom Season 5 is in town. It's a celebration of our mothers. The Supermom Season 5. My Dad, My Supermom.
You see my mama, tell her I love